The live-action adaptation for Avatar: The Last Airbender has been highly anticipated since its announcement all the way back in 2018. Since then, we've seen some incredible promotional material, with excellent casting, wonderful costume design, and an incredible amount of love and care clearly going into making this adaptation happen. However, over the last 6 years, the original creators, Bryan Konietzko and Dante DiMartino, ended up leaving this project and founding Avatar Studios. With other creative talents from the original show, they aim to bring us the world of Avatar again in animation. Question remains though, why? With such love and care paid to this adaptation, it's hard to believe that the original creators wouldn't be as stoked as many of the fans are. However, recently some news has come out that I think begins to hint why Avatar Studios was founded, instead of them doubling down on this adaptation. In a recent interview with Ian Osley, actor for Sokka, and, sorry if I butcher this, Kyle Intio, the actor for Katara, they said the directors and showrunners are portraying things differently for Sokka. They intend to tone down, remove, or retool Sokka's early sexism to make it more acceptable for modern audiences in 2024, feeling that parts of it were too iffy and uncomfortable. When the producers came forward to defend this change, they said that this telling of ATLA would be a remix, not a simple adaptation. There's more to that than it seems, so let's break down each of these ideas and explore them a little bit. Toning down Sokka's sexism, at first look, sounds excellent, and like it'll be far more acceptable in today's audiences. Who wants to see an over-the-top sexist hero glorified? Except, anyone who has watched the show will know that's not how it goes for Sokka. Even when he's making his comments, not only do the characters around him make fun of him, but the world itself usually causes him some pain as a sort of immediate karma. And this all only really lasts until episode 4, where the gang meets the Kyoshi warriors. There, Sokka is outright humiliated in his attempts to be the big strong man. The Kyoshi warriors are, well, warriors, and highly skilled at that. Sokka, meanwhile, is a boy with little to no training, left to safeguard and protect his village filled with the women and children who didn't go to war. It's easy to see that while not entirely his fault, Sokka still has a duty to overcome this fault of his. And he does so with stunning humility. He gets on his knees and begs the Kyoshi warriors for forgiveness. And it makes it all the more satisfying when they begin to train him and Sokka and Suki begin to form a relationship. However, the sexism doesn't stop there, making it feel like a larger cultural problem than just Sokka. As I get to the Northern Water Tribe, Master Paku outright refuses to train Katara in waterbending. The customs of the Northern Water Tribe dictate that the men learn combative arts while women learn healing. This time, instead of one of our main characters being humbled and changing their sexist views, we see Katara go absolutely off in an epic battle with Master Paku. She loses, and in the end, it doesn't even mean anything, until Paku realizes that Katara is his once betrothed's granddaughter. And before we go on, I just want to point out how Sokka's sexism leads to greater character development. How even the world will often make him trip or stumble, or he'll get beaten up by a girl far more skilled than himself. It feels natural, right, and like an excellent lesson for young and grown men alike to learn from. On the other hand, I feel that the cultural issues at the Water Tribe are handled far less cleanly. Katara's battle with Paku, excellent showing of her untrained skills, hold no meaning in the face of these sexist customs. She wasn't able to prove her point, and she wasn't able to change his mind. It's only when there's something that affects Paku, Katara being his lost love's granddaughter, that something actually changes and she's taught the art. So let me know in the comments, between these two situations, which do you feel should have undergone some sort of change or toning down? Now we dive into what the producers are saying in response to the backlash from the ATLA fans. They say that this adaptation is more of a remix than just telling the same story in live action. But aren't most adaptations that, though, kind of to their detriment? I feel that this response from the producers doesn't really inspire much hope for me. It feels like they're saying that they have changed even greater parts of the story or characters while leaving the overall theme and end goal intact. Aang has to master all four elements and save the world. But to me, that doesn't sound like a good adaptation. For example, let's take a look at my favorite and one of the best performing, if not best performing, adaptation come out to date, The Last of Us. In The Last of Us show, we retain many, if not all, of the important themes and messages that were brought up in the game. Our characters don't experience any major shift from their video game counterparts, except Bill, but like, all of us love Bill. That's chill. Let Bill be. In fact, the characters we see in the show are practically the same characters we play as. Instead, what the show creators did was add to the characters and story we know and love. Joel is a perfect example from this. In the game, he's this tough smuggler guy that rarely shows any great amount of emotionality. In fact, the most emotion he allows himself to outwardly display is anger, his fury. In the show, we get a somewhat more emotional Joel. Towards the end of the first season, he opens up to Ellie about his depression, about the time he tried to take his life because he couldn't cope with the loss of his daughter. Almost directly after that, we get to see Joel in his natural element, a gun in hand and enemies in front of him. What this scene did was not make Joel into less of a stoic badass. Instead, we got to see another side of him, a side that he generally keeps hidden away. And in my humble opinion, every adaptation that comes out should look to The Last of Us for examples of how to do it well. Too many adaptations are caught up trying not to tell the same story that we've already heard. But that's the thing with adaptations. Seeing the same story in a different format is what excites us about them. When writers make an attempt to alter the story, characters, or world, it feels less like an adaptation and more like fan fiction that the fans are all but have to engage in. We don't really want a remix of the story. We want the same story with additions from people who care about the IP, who understand what they're working with and how they can add to it, not subtract and change things they feel make people uncomfortable. Especially when making people uncomfortable or not like a character is a specific point of the thing they want to change, i.e., Sokka's early sexism. But that's all I really wanted to explore. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree. And let me know if you're still hyped for this adaptation of ATLA. I know I am, even if I've already busted out my salt shake. And if you enjoyed this, consider giving a like or subscribe. I know it's annoying to be asked this, but it does really help my very small channel and my work get out to more people. Maybe, just maybe, the top of these spires will lead to a better tomorrow. Bye.